We're going to start by going that way. We're going to come around to the left. We're going to find that Pangea green. This Defender over there. It's so weird to say that name again. Defender.
Yeah, Defender. Yeah, because we were looking at a Defender, like an older one from my mom and I. And she just she loved the new one. We said, yeah, the new one's coming out.
Right? Absolutely. So we're going to have it kind of already set up for you. What we're going to do is we're going to hang out right here for just a moment. We want to give them at least maybe a car and a half length in front of us. That way we could actually kind of keep traveling and not having to stop.
Yeah, because you don't want to stop on it.
Correct. Plus, the benefit of that, if we want to bring you into a real world scenario, right, is can we see anything right now?
No.
Giving them a little bit of space to work through some stuff, to be able to work through it. So that way you're not on top of the person in front of you, who might already be anxious and a little freaked out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you guys ever done anything like this before?
I've done a little bit off-road. We actually did an old Defender in Tuscany.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was definitely the shifting down gears, very old school. This is very easy.
This is very new.
So whenever you're ready.
Here we go. And now just come right off the pedal.
Nature of the dirt.
Watch this. No gas, no brake right here. Cool. So,
cool.
Cool thing about the Defender is it comes standard with the 2-speed transfer case. High range, low range. We are already in low range for you. You know the benefit of having that? Yeah?
Oh, boy. Yeah.
No, watch this. Just come off the pedals. You gotta keep your hands on the wheel though. It still doesn't drive itself. But just stay off the pedals. The cool thing about still having that 2-speed transfer case low range, it gives you more power to the wheels. That's why it's able to kind of just walk through here without any input. So if it starts to push, just bring the wheel a little bit to the right like that. There you go. Now straighten the wheel up. There we go. Just keep it nice and straight. Just keep the vehicle kind of just walking. Bring it a little bit farther down first. And now all the way to the right, all the way. And just, yeah, nice and gentle. What I've found out so far with the consistency of the dirt that we have, it's very sandy. So right, if you start slower and pull up, you're gonna get much better line as you come up.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. Okay.
Cool beans. One thing that's really new to the Defender that we've never had before is the air suspension system. So you might have noticed that's why it was a little hard to get into the vehicle. It's about 3 inches higher than it would be on the road. And right here, why don't we just hang on? We're gonna let them kind of get off the bridge. Yeah, we got bridges. You got to keep it exciting, right?
Yeah.
So the best thing I can tell you, the cool thing is some of the design cues on the hood. That's kind of replica of the old Defender where that plated. But that's kind of right where the tire is. Right underneath that. So as you roll forward, just kind of come off the pedal, just kind of let it walk.
Oh, so it's perfect cue.
Correct. And the hardest thing about a bridge is trying not to turn the wheel.
Yeah.
Because now you know that your wheels are on it.
Yeah.
You try and want to stay on it, right? Beautiful. Same thing when we start a little bit lower this side. There we go. So what have you done? You said you did a little bit of off-roading in Tuscany?
A little bit in Italy and some Jeep stuff in Utah, but nothing like overlanding or anything like that.
Sure. Well, the cool thing about off-roading is there's lots of spectrums to it, right? So no matter what you're going to do, as long as it's kind of off pavement or low traction, you can kind of consider it being an adventure a little bit, right? Where are you guys coming in from?
Oregon and Minnesota.
Nice.
Yeah.
Where in Minnesota are you from?
Minneapolis, Plymouth, Wayzata area.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
My aunt and uncle live in Rochester.
Really? Very cool.
They've lived there for like 35 plus years now.
Yeah.
I've gone out there a couple times to go out and hang out with them.
No, it's a great state, just not in the winter. So,
and that's why we're all here in Palm Springs.
That's right.
At the moment, right?
Totally.
I understand. I live in upstate New York.
Oh, okay.
So
I grew up in Long Island, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I grew up downstate too. You know, once you're a New Yorker, you're kind of always a New Yorker somehow in a little ways, right?
Yeah. So can you tell me a little bit more about this new Defender? Like, what's like the biggest takeaways when you talk about this truck?
I mean, there's lots of cool things about it. I mean, if you want to break it down into some of the cool like historical things about it, I love the fact that we still have this awesome crossbeam right in the vehicle. I've used it already, and I use this vehicle for a night drive, and I just was able to put my gloves, everything right in on the dash. Something you don't really find in the other models, like you have to find like you put them in the cubby box, or got to put them like in the cup holder, which then takes away the functionality of bringing a cup of coffee with you. Same thing with this. Why don't we start a little bit down here too? There we go.
And then
and just kind of stay off the gas, because what's going to happen is if the more you're on the gas, more power with the wheels. Now start going left. There we go. And now all the way. Turn it all the way hard left. Perfect. So some of the interior design, it's just the functionality and the practicality of this vehicle gives it a nice, robust look. The awesome technology in the vehicle, the Pivi new operating system, I've used it quite a bit already. It's very smartphone related, so I've been able to just put my phone right here on the wireless charger, charge it without a cord. It's very easy to use. I love the fact it comes standard with the 2-speed transfer case, like I feel like all Defenders should. It's got a Meridian surround system, which must be how the acoustics at the inside of the car work, because it just sounds absolutely awesome. A little bit to the left. I mean, I can go on the things that I like, but specifically, what do you kind of need, or what are you looking for?
It's kind of like, more or less, it's a car that kind of does everything while also having the creature comforts.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're going away from a lot of classic design that gave cars their personality. And I feel like Defender and Land Rover as a whole is trying to really bring that back.
Yeah.
Because you look at a lot of modern cars, a lot of modern SUVs, SAVs, they're all really almost look the same. And that's what I loved about the Defender, is that even though it's 20 years in the making, it looks like just as if it was the next generation of, just kind of picked up where you left off.
Correct. It was something that kind of needed, believe it or not, kind of have to get that refresh to kind of come back. You know, that chassis and that body that we were using was, at the time, 36 years old when it finally ended. What's cool about this platform is it's now the unibody aluminum, like the rest of the lineup is, which is actually about 3 times more stiff and sturdier than the original platform that it was based on. So you said you've already driven an old Defender, right?
Yeah.
You notice that your knees are kind of not stuffed up into your chest.
Yep.
You notice how we have all this now space in the back. Lane, were you with him on that trip?
Yeah, and
Did you sit in the back of that car? What do you feel already?
well, one, it just feels a lot safer and sturdier in general. We were like no seatbelts. It was just like hang on to whatever's kind of around in the car. And yeah, just really well built. A lot more leg space. I mean, this is awesome to be a passenger in here. And there's a lot of cars where that's not the case. Even I'd say the old Defender. Just the ride in general too is fun, because I feel like you still feel all of the road beneath you.
Yep.
But it is a lot more comfortable and feels a lot safer, I guess, than the old one.
Like you were saying, it's the creature comforts. You know, that the original Defender, as awesome as it is, you know, it was a car that you never really wanted to use on a day-to-day basis.
Right.
You know, you were pretty much like, I have 8-hour max to get to my trail, use the car, and to get myself home without really having to see my chiropractor the next day.
We noticed that too in the Defender. It was definitely a backbreaker. It was just because she was in the back and she was jumping up and down in the thing.
And acoustically, it just is, you know, it was just loud.
Yeah.
In general, right? Because it just had literally the engine and transmission like right underneath those floorboards.
Right.
I was in one I was in an old 110 a couple weeks ago.
Right.
And I had to kind of talk like this in order to talk to the driver who was right next to me. So taking all those things that we kind of want out of a new car while still being able to keep it as pretty basic as we could.
Definitely.
You know, I love the fact that you could still see the metal panels like on the doors with these rivets that we've thrown in here.
Yeah, that's awesome.
On the back of the second row and on the third row, you know, it's like this heavy duty rubber. So what's cool about that old Defender, right? You got the floors dirty or whatever, you take the pressure wash, you clean it right out. Yeah. You know? Now what we did with the floors come right up to the door seals. So you can still just take a broom and sweep the things out while knowing that if you got dirt and stuff on your floors, you wouldn't care as much.
Yeah.
You know, you throw things into the trunks. We've been doing a Defender launch with all our retailers, right? We've been out in the deserts for 8 hours, and we're bringing things in and out, and our consumers are not worried about throwing their dirty chairs in the back of the car. Yeah. You know, they've just been naturally kind of going with the flow of how they would use a typical SUV, and that's what's awesome about it.
Sorry, it's this guy right here.
You're good.
I see.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Very cool.
Wait, I'm gonna have that.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that
Sorry.
filmmaker's eye. You gotta just.
When you get your shot, you have to get your shot, right?
Yeah.
So those are the things that the things that matter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we can go on and on about also all the accessories that kind of come with it. You know, you can get the Expedition roof rack. You know, you put the 660 pounds up there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice. You want a rooftop tent and, you know, sleep on top of it. We give you that to you, you know? From a little bit to the left. And now just nice and straight. First vehicle we can offer factory with a winch. Right?
Really?
That's huge. So they really took the effort to really kind of look at all the things that kind of go into that expedition lifestyle with more of a modern touch than we've had at any of the other models. Does that kind of give you a good little
Yeah, absolutely.
baseline?
I guess when it comes from a consumer standpoint,
Moving again, instructor drive.
what are some, I think, options that you think are necessary for this car to have versus, like, if, let's say, you maybe not need the audio system, but you definitely need the leather over the cloth or something like that?
Well, that's the cool thing about the car. It's all can be individualized to what you need. You know, my Defender that I built came out to like 66,000 online. All right, why don't we just hang out right here real quick? Because then we can watch, really see how that suspension's kind of working on the car.
Noel, do you want your camera?
You know, we went
he's already done.
we went with the multi-link suspension system to be able to increase that cruise comfort on road while still maintaining the traction that it needs off road.
Absolutely.
So what we want to do is just nice and easy. Why don't we come around this way? There we go. Now come back to the right, just nice and easy. Bring it back more to the right, more to the right. And hold the wheel nice and straight here, because what's going to happen is you're going to want to turn the wheel because that front, any of the wheels come into the air. It lightens that front edge.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So as you lift, you feel the wheel line turn, and then just add a little bit of brake as you're coming out. So we'll work on that here. So right here, watch this, just nice and gentle. There you go. And then
That's crazy. And it's almost like what's that feedback I'm getting in the pedals? Is that like an ABS or is
so
that?
yeah, that little sound.
Yeah.
So that is ABS traction control, right?
Okay.
Because everything we kind of do in this car kind of focuses under the umbrella of ABS. That'd be dynamic stability control, traction control. I'm missing one. Hill descent control.
Yeah.
There we go. You know, so everything kind of branches off that. And what's cool about our system is that we can monitor that wheel spin up to like a quarter of a second versus other manufacturers that don't refine that as far. So you could feel that instantly as that wheel came into the air, it lost traction, right? You wanted to spin because that's where the least amount of resistance is.
Got it.
And you heard it quickly grab and add the brake and forcing the power to the other wheel. Because if we add a little bit of resistance there, the power has to follow the path of least resistance, right? Which would be the wheel that actually has traction.
Got it.
So cool, guys.
Yeah.
You guys like it?
Yeah, thank you so much.
Not a problem. Thanks for